Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of A Toast to the Atypical. I'm Brit.
And I'm Dale.
All right, so we're going to start it off with just our usual thanking everybody, new and old listeners. Thank you guys for checking it out and for...
Not old listeners. I mean, maybe we have some old listeners out there. I don't know.
Like... I mean, I'm old, so I feel old. Yeah, so thank you to everyone for listening and checking out the episodes. We really appreciate you guys.
Yeah, it was cool seeing our Spotify Wrapped, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
Because it was really cool to see where people are listening from and how many listeners we had, and it was really neat. So thank you guys so much for that. I guess I can post that up. I think I can do like
that would be cool. You can do. I think there's a when you go back into the Wrapped in like the notifications, there's a thing that says like download this page or whatever, and it's like a little.
So I'll send that out so you guys can see
probably do that
how
on
well
Instagram
you supported
or something.
us, which is cool.
So our drink for this episode is called the Sapphire Moon.
Ooh.
And it is blue curacao, vanilla vodka, lime juice, and it's supposed to be lychee simple syrup, but we didn't have that.
We're not bougie like that.
Well, it's like a simple syrup, but you add the lychee fruit to it. But we didn't have that, so we're just doing regular.
I'm fresh out of lychee fruit. It's a really pretty color because of all the blue curacao in it. And if your blue curacao is newer than ours, it might taste better too, because ours have been in our cabinets for probably 6 years. So that's cool.
I think that's probably a low estimate.
It's a cool looking drink. It's straight alcohol though, so I did bring over
I feel like blue
soda.
curacao really doesn't taste like much though.
Yeah, I did bring over club soda in case you want to make it like more of a...
Well, I'll try it straight up first and then decide from there.
Speaking of drinks, because I keep mentioning this at the end of our episodes, if you guys want to buy us a drink and kind of like sponsor an episode, whatever, you can buy us a drink. If you go to the link down in the description of the Spotify and basically any of the podcast pages, not the YouTube page. I don't think it's on there. I'll have to add it on there. Mm-hmm. But you can buy us a drink, and it's, I don't know, you can do like $1, you can do like $5. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Hit us on there, comfortable buy us a drink. We can give you a shout out or not, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, we don't have to.
Yeah. So.
We'll just anonymously thank you.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
We'll do a shot in your anonymous name.
I will not do a shot.
Yeah, shots.
I mean, if that's what you buy us and that's what you want us to do, I guess.
You have to. Right?
Do not turn this fucking series into an episode of Fear Factor, please.
Send Brit a shot of 151.
I don't want to play this game. Oh, Everclear.
151 with a worm in it. She'll be into it.
It's tequila that has the worm.
I don't care. We're putting a worm in the 151.
I'm not doing that.
Sure you are. For the listeners. It's for the listeners.
Okay. Speaking of that, to the listeners.
To the listeners.
To us. To a new year.
May your ups and downs be under the sheets.
What?
May your ups and your downs be under the sheets.
Is that like a common phrase? I have never heard that in my life.
I don't know. It's a thing.
Did you
it's
just
a toast.
Make that up?
No, it's a toast that I heard, and I don't know. I thought it was kind of funny.
I mean, it's funny. I don't know.
Why not, right?
Sure.
I'll let you take the first sip.
Ooh. I like
good
it.
Or
yeah.
Really?
Yes. Right?
Wow.
That is delicious.
Wow. I will admit, though, we didn't use vanilla vodka.
Oh, right. So we didn't have vanilla. We had
vodka.
whipped cream vodka. But, I mean, I feel like they're not that far off.
That's really fucking good.
Right? You know what this would be super good as? Oh, my God. Summer drink in the slushy maker.
Yes.
Yo.
Yes. Can you make... Well, you would have to mix it in...
You would mix the slush like
first.
You would. Well, no. So we have the shaved ice maker.
Yeah.
You'd have to shave the ice and then like pour it over top.
We're degenerates. We have a children's shaved ice maker, and we make alcoholic drinks. We use it to pour alcohol on.
I mean,
so Yeah.
Fuck them kids. They're the reason I drink. That is fantastic.
It is good.
So I'm sure, as you can guess by our drink title, this episode is going to be about conspiracies surrounding the moon. So there's going to be a couple different things that we're going to touch on. Originally, it was just going to be a hollow moon, and then we kind of thought it wasn't beefy enough, so we've padded a bit to that.
Yeah.
But before we jump into that, we have a little bit of follow up from our most recent episode just prior to this one. So we did the Vatican, which came out last week, and I guess it was. We recorded it on Friday
night.
Friday the 30th, we recorded it. New Year's Eve, my mom came over. We were talking to her. We were talking to her about the podcast, about the episode we just did, and we were telling her, everything. And we said that, we just recorded an episode about the Vatican, and we were, just kind of filling her in on some of the details. And she goes, well, that's really weird because, he just died. And we're like, he? What do you mean?
Who?
What do you mean he? And she was like, the Pope. We're like, what? So the Pope Benedict the 16th apparently died while we were recording the episode. Like,
basically, as Brit
potentially,
was saying,
as I was saying that he knows some shit.
Yeah.
He was biting the bullet. So that was weird. And he
was like 95 years old or something like that, but still.
I don't remember. And I know that his health had not been well, they say.
So they say.
Allegedly. So that was weird. But other than that, I think just pretty status quo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see. I don't think there was too much other than that. But it was a cool episode, though.
It was fun.
I liked the Vatican
cool.
one. That was neat. Had some people very interested in the time travel side of it. After I talked to them about it.
Oh, yeah?
Because I did have a couple of people that I talked to after the fact. Yeah.
Okay.
And they were very interested in that. They were just very interested in the fact that, like,
that they maybe made a machine and then destroyed it.
Yeah, and like even the stuff that is said to be in the Vatican archives, like they just thought it was really cool. So they're really interesting.
I'm interested.
And very believable. Not one person I talked to, and I talked to some people who are definitely conspiracy theorists. I talked to some people who don't fucking care about conspiracies at all. And I mean, every one of them had the same response.
Hefty connections with people who were like very strongly religious too. And I don't know if you talked to them about any of that, but
one of them was the one person who's very religious is actually writing a book, and everyone that I talked to was like, I'm not surprised at all what they would hide.
No, and I think the most interesting thing to me is that there are potentially books of the Bible that Jesus himself wrote. And I mean, just thinking like logically, for them to hide those, there has to be something damning in it.
Yep.
Because why wouldn't you say, like, look, yes, he existed. This is hardcore proof.
It's probably like his personal journal, being like, check out these fucking idiots thinking that I rolled this big ass rock away from my tomb.
He's like, all that really happened was I was rolling joints with Mary Magdalene.
Right.
I ain't rolling no fucking tombstone.
I got fucked up, passed out at some wedding, and then woke up in a dark room somewhere.
They said I turned it into wine and shit. I really just puked in the bucket.
Yeah.
We're going straight to hell.
Oh, yeah. Driving the bus.
Yeah.
Driving the bus.
At least we'll have some good alcohol on the way. This is delicious.
It is pretty good.
I'm into it. I'm very interested in what the lychee syrup would taste like instead.
You said it was some sort of rosewood or something. Way too bougie for me.
Well, I heard it has like a flowery kind of taste. So I don't.
Like the elderflower.
I guess maybe.
I don't know.
What?
That stuff's good. That St. Germain's elderflower.
The St. Germain's,
stuff, yeah.
The winter white Cosmo.
Ooh. That was what, Bonefish? Bonefish Grill?
Is that where we went for your Christmas party that year?
Yeah, I think so.
That sounds right.
All right.
Let's
take
it away.
Into it. just making sure we're actually recording on everything.
Probably
keep peeking
should have been
over to
done
make
13 minutes ago, but
All right, so in July of 1969, the United States allegedly landed on the moon. Mm-hmm. It's a hot topic for conspiracy theorists.
For man.
Yeah, one huge leap for conspiracy theories.
For logic.
Yeah. So it's an extremely hot topic in the conspiracy theory world because it's believed from day one that it was a hoax.
This was like one of the big, like, first big conspiracies that I ever remember hearing about. Was like that the moon landing was like Steven Spielberg made.
No, so, well, I never heard Steven Spielberg. I heard Stanley Kubrick.
I'm sorry. That's who I meant.
Stanley Kubrick.
You're right. That's who I meant. I'm sorry.
And I think I have that in my notes here somewhere. We'll probably get into that. But so there's a ton of other theories surrounding the moon, and we're going to talk about a couple of them today. But again, you can't really talk about the other theories without talking about the actual main one of the moon landing was a hoax.
Right.
So, I have a couple things here on it. It became popular right after the moon landing was shown and announced. Immediately, people were like, nope, bullshit. There's no way this happened. This is all fake. It's in a movie theater somewhere or in a studio somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. But why fake the moon landing? Stupid.
Well, they didn't want to be beat by the Russians.
Right. So it was to win the space race.
Yeah.
It was the reasoning for them and to establish the strength of the United States because
because
what else shows the size of your dick than going to the moon?
Anybody ever
giant
seen
phallic shaped
fucking Austin Powers?
Yeah. Well, that's what
Operation Ass Cream.
That's what Bezos rocket looked like. Looks like a big dick.
They all look like big dicks.
No, but the SpaceX...
Every single one of them looks like a dildo.
I know, but the SpaceX rocket and the Bezos rocket... Have you seen Bezos rocket?
No.
Jeff Bezos.
Is it Bezos or Bezos?
Bezos. I don't fucking know. Who cares? He's an
Well,
asshole.
no, I've been saying it in my head as Bezos, but I don't know if that's right.
It is a full-on penis with a head. That's a dick.
See, it kind of looks like a microphone, too.
That's
but
a dick.
I mean...
It looks just like his big-ass head. That's a penis.
Reminds me of Moby.
I'll put up a picture of it.
Do you remember Moby?
Moby?
Yeah, the singer Moby, the bald guy.
No. Not all bald guys look the same.
No, but look it up.
Moby?
Yeah.
M-O-B-I?
M-O-B-Y.
O-B-Y? Moby. Oh, he's a little... Yeah.
He kind of looks like Jeff Bezos.
I guess. No, he's just bald.
No,
Bezos
he
has
looks
much
like him.
weirder looking ears. Anyway. Yeah, they needed to win the space race because got to get to the fucking moon. Yeah.
This might be the first drink that I like down in a while.
Oh, shit.
It's been a bit since we had one that was like really good to me.
Work day tomorrow. Better not drink too much.
I don't have a patient till 10 a.m.
There you go. So what I'm going to go through are some of the things that conspiracy theorists point to about the moon landing that hint that it was a hoax.
So these are like what they're using to support their claim? Okay.
Yes.
So like their
accurate.
bullet points.
Correct.
Got it.
The first is...
the flag, right?
No, that's one of them.
I was going to say, that's got to be on there.
That's one of them. That's the second one I think I have here.
Okay.
The first one is the stars. In none of the pictures of the astronauts on the moon are there any stars in the background.
Shit, I never realized that.
It's all just black.
Yes.
So you would think that there's no atmosphere, there's no pollution, there's no distortion of like moisture in the air. They should be much brighter and visible in all the photos.
Yeah.
So NASA argues this by saying that all of the moon missions, which this is all true, what they're saying, the moon missions took place during the moon's daytime. So the surface...
Okay.
It's so bright on the surface of the moon that the stars couldn't be seen because of how quick the shutter speed on the camera needed to be.
I was going to ask if it had something to do with the camera.
And the video quality of the time was shit, so it's not like you could see them in the videos.
Okay.
I mean, the picture quality wasn't great either, but it was much better, and you could have taken pictures of...
It existed.
Yeah.
Okay.
So...
Meh. That alone, not enough to make me think it would be fake.
Right.
But...
Interesting, though.
Interesting. You would think that at least in some capacity they would be like, I don't know, like a little fuzzy in the background, like a little something.
But you know what? Go outside right now with your cell phone and take a picture of... Try to take a picture of the sky.
Yeah.
And it's just going to be black. Unless you set it on like that night sight mode and have a wide open shutter for a couple seconds to catch that sunlight or to catch that starlight.
I don't know if I ever really like tried to take a photo outside or like took notice to if there were stars in the background.
You would not see the stars unless you had a long shutter speed. And then the other side of it is even like right now, if we were to take one of these studio lights and put it right here, and I tried to take a picture of this glass with the light, like if light's right here, take the picture of this, I probably wouldn't even see your face because it would be hitting so much light from that source. Everything in the back would be dark.
Yeah, but, well, okay. All right.
So,
yeah okay.
It makes sense if you look at it that way.
Right, and if you're thinking of what the focus of the photo is, they probably can't get everything. Okay.
Right.
All right, I don't hate it.
Yeah, so there's that. So that's pretty much, I would say, disproven. I mean,
yeah.
It's a good starting point.
I don't know.
Theory,
I mean, I don't know if it's full-blown disproven as much as there is a very logical
answer. That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't pin it just on that.
Right. If that were the only thing, then I would say no.
Unless you want to add in that, like, other than the moon, outer space is a hoax. There are no stars. It's all fucking a projection on our
I feel
atmosphere.
like we're going to need a whole nother day for that.
Yeah.
Poor Pluto. He might not even actually exist, and we're still fucking him over.
Mm-hmm. Pluto the dog gets fucked. Pluto the
dog's got it made, man.
Yeah.
Fuck that, dude. Goofy and Pluto are both dogs, and Goofy has like a real job and
Goofy's a
and
cow,
has to pay bills and shit.
Goofy's a cow.
No, Goofy's a dog.
I'm pretty sure Goofy's a cow.
No, Goofy's a dog. His girlfriend's a cow. And
That's
Goofy would be
fucked
a bull.
Up to say. That's fucked up to say.
She is a cow.
That's fucked up to say.
And Goofy would be a bull, BT Dubs, not a cow.
How come I can't... Yeah, that's true. How come I can't...
Where's his horns? Goofy's a dog.
How come I can't call our dog a cow? Yeah,
I call her the cow. She is a cow.
All right.
Tiny cow. But anyway, yeah, Goofy has like a real job, has to pay bills and shit. Like, and Pluto gets to be a dog.
Living
like,
the
he
dream.
gets to like scratch my belly, give me bones. Mm-hmm. Pluto's got it made.
He does.
Yo, if I come back in another life, I want to be a dog. No, fuck that. I want to be a sloth, baby. Oh, let me just hang in a tree all day long.
Going so slow, you just get all mossy and shit.
Never cut my toenails.
Never wash your hair.
I don't do that anyway.
I know.
I did today, though.
Oh, thank God. First time in 3 weeks?
No, like 1 week. Probably like 8 days.
Dry shampoo for the win.
Listen, you wouldn't have even known. It still looked good last night at dinner.
Go to Brit's OnlyFans for hair care.
Nah.
You do the hair care, I'll do the foot
Well, you
pics.
certainly can't do the hair care.
Yeah. All right. Second thing that conspiracy theorists point to is the wind on the flag.
Yeah.
The rippling of the flag.
The rippling. Mm-hmm.
Right, which is what you brought up.
I remember that being like a big point.
Yeah. So the photos and video even of the flag makes it look like the flag is blowing in the wind.
Mm-hmm.
So
but
NASA, which you can tell in the pictures, NASA had an arm at the top of the pole that held the flag outward.
Okay.
And you can see that in the pictures. You can see the actual rod going through the flag. So that's why the flag's sticking out. The ripples they're explaining that as the flag was packed away for however many days it took to get there. Yeah, so it was wrinkled. They had just pulled it out. You don't have the moisture that you do on Earth to pull the wrinkles out. Mm-hmm. And then the pole was just pushed into the ground. So there's still movement in the whole thing.
Because someone is physically moving it.
Right. So, like, they stuck the pole in, and it's still moving because there's not, I guess, wind resistance to stop it from moving.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they kind of explain that one away that way. And I'll have a picture of that one as well. I'll also have a picture of the stars not being there.
Okay.
Well,
a picture of
a picture of nothing there. I'll put up a black screen right now. This is what the stars look like.
You idiot.
I'll put a picture of the astronauts where you can see the black background and you don't see any stars. There's a couple of them. Well, there's multiple, but on the topic of the photos, the other thing they point to is who's taking all the pictures.
That's what I've always wondered.
So it's actually funny because I knew this one, but this is one of the bigger arguments is who the hell photographed all the events. And there's videos and images of Armstrong doing his famous one small step for man deal. So
was that him or was that Glenn? Hank, what the hell was his name? I think that wasn't Armstrong that said that.
I thought it was. No, he was the first on the moon, right? Yeah. Maybe him. But the truth is that the video that was being taken was of them like landing and the first steps on the moon were a video camera that was mounted on the outside of the Eagle lander. And the video camera was not intended to it was there to capture this video and had that obviously NASA thought of that, but the intention of that was to record the whole landing process.
Okay.
And then that they used the same camera to be able to see those steps.
Okay, so you're right. It was Armstrong.
Yeah. So the still photo that you see that is extremely popular, and I'll put that up, of an astronaut coming down, and it always says, like, that's the first steps down, and that's the first person on the moon. That's actually
Aldrin is the other guy. I don't know where I got Glenn
So
from.
that picture is actually Buzz Aldrin. It's Neil Armstrong taking that photo of Buzz Aldrin.
Right.
So, yeah, that is...
that I do remember hearing, actually.
Glenn. You're thinking John Glenn?
I don't know.
He's an astronaut, but I don't know what missions he was on. Yeah, John Glenn, I'm pretty sure, was an astronaut. You looking that up?
He was the third American in space and the first to orbit the Earth.
There you go. Okay.
Circling it 3 times in 1962.
Okay, there you go. That drink is pretty good.
Yep.
What the fuck does blue carousel taste like, though? I feel like I need to just drink that.
I've liked every single drink I've had with it in there.
Yeah. So, well, they're all very sweet drinks, though, I feel like. Like a blue Hawaiian and...
So good. That was our wedding signature cocktail or whatever. But I feel like...
Because we got married on a beach in Hawaii.
If I had my way, we would have. Fucking vetoed on that. No, I think... that makes me wonder if the blue curacao itself is sweet. Or if it's, like, related to...
It probably is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Probably is.
Because I don't feel like anything else that's in this is that sweet.
I mean, there's simple syrup in it.
Yeah, but...
Not much.
Yeah,
I don't taste the lime at all. Anyway.
The lime might just be to cut some of the sweet.
Could be.
To give you a little something.
The next thing they conspiracy theorists point to is we have this Hubble telescope that we spent billions of dollars on in space. Mm-hmm. We take pictures of far off places. Why can't you flip that fucker around and take a picture of what we left on the moon to prove to us this is what we left on the moon? And I first heard that, and I was like, that's fucking smart. Like, why haven't they done that? That makes perfect sense. NASA says that the Hubble is designed to take photos of far-off, gigantic targets like like fucking galaxies.
Like entire galaxies, okay.
So they can't hone it in on something as small as what they left on the moon. And the biggest piece of equipment left on the moon was 10 meters in width. So they were like, we can't. It's like literally finding like the point of a needle in a haystack and like trying to focus a telescope on it.
It's like when you zoom in on your camera super far, and then you're like trying to find
everything's
like the
too
bird
grainy.
that's in the tree.
Yeah, they can't focus the telescope on something that small. Kind of makes sense, I guess.
Yeah,
Still
I get
doesn't.
it. I mean, I have on more than one occasion like zoomed in on something and then like tried to find it on my phone and be like, where the fuck did it go?
I do
and like
feel
have to find it with my eyes and then go back.
I do feel like they have telescopes now from Earth that you could fucking zoom in that far.
So I was just gonna say that I feel like they have to at this point.
Or the satellites that are in space right now, or any of that shit. Like I feel like they should have something that they could send up there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think the moon's
made of cheese.
No, I do think that something happened up there, and they're like sworn that they can't go back. I think something happened.
What did they leave on the moon? What was the?
It was a part of the lunar lander, I guess.
Was that supposed to happen, or was that like why was it left?
So there's we'll get into that coming
go
up.
Ahead.
But they left equipment just because we're humans and we leave trash fucking everywhere.
Right, that's the part that pisses me off.
Yeah, and then the other part was like stages of things, like the landing gear for the lunar module. The module wouldn't have it, like they have to plan everything down to the ounce.
Right.
And like it wouldn't have enough boost to be able to take off again with the base on it. So they have to leave the base and take off the actual.
That's so stupid, though. Like, of course. Right. Of course, you fucking trash pandas would leave shit on the moon.
You can't just fucking leave it. Like, come on. Just fucking.
Overgrown raccoons with larger brains.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm not a tree humper, but like.
I'm not either, but like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You do not need to leave giant hunks of fucking equipment on the moon.
No.
That's garbage. Literally, that's literally fucking garbage.
Yeah.
Like you're just a shitty person.
Yeah.
Figure it out, NASA.
Fucking NASA.
Billions of fucking dollars, and you can't clean up after yourself. Like,
nope. No. Yeah.
Can you wipe your own ass effectively? Like,
not effectively. They probably throw the fucking toilet paper out there too, and just let it chill.
Like fucking monkeys, just throw their shit everywhere.
Yeah. This one's funny. So, some lady in Australia named Una Ronald claimed to see a Coke bottle kicked across the moon during the Apollo 11 landing. Now, I will not have a photo of this because this was never seen anywhere by anybody else except for this crazy fucking woman in Australia.
Was she hit by like a fucking
maybe a kangaroo kicked her in the ass or
radioactive spider or something before this shit happened? They got some crazy shit in Australia.
Oh, everything's killing you in Australia except for Una.
She's probably hallucinated some crazy shit.
Probably. She had just gotten bit by a rattlesnake of some sort.
What's her name? Una? UNA?
Yeah, UNA Ronald. Yeah, Coke bottle. Interesting one. You looking her up? See who she is?
I want to see if she's still alive.
Maybe she was suicided.
That's what I'm looking up.
This drink's good.
Right?
I'm into it.
It's sweet, but it's not like...
It's not overbearing.
No, and it doesn't taste too summery.
I feel like it does taste very summery.
I think it does, but not compared to like a fucking...
Your teeth are blue also.
Are they?
My doo-doos is going to be all sorts of weird colors tomorrow after...
Shit.
Try not to breathe into the microphone right now with your nose all over it. Got a mouth breathing into it. You stoop kid over here.
Apparently, Una Ronald is a pseudonym. So okay. I don't know if what her real name is or if she's still alive.
There's probably somebody working for Coke at the time, like trying to get a free advertisement.
Yeah. They're like, this polar bear shit ain't cutting it anymore.
Yeah.
How can we drum up some business?
Yeah. The next one is the iconic photo of a footprint on the moon, the astronaut's boot print in the moon. So the claim is that there would need to be some sort of moisture in the ground to be able to make that perfect of a footprint with all of the detail that's in there.
Yeah, I mean, considering that, the gravity is different too, like, wouldn't you think you wouldn't be able to generate enough force to, like, press into it?
No, you could, I'm sure, generate enough force.
You think?
Yeah, but, you're generating enough force to hold down a lunar lander, not have that fly around.
Yeah, I guess.
Drive around a freaking buggy on the moon.
Okay.
But the surface of the moon is totally different than Earth.
Yeah.
And realistically, what they're saying seems legit. So NASA is basically saying that. Sorry, hold on.
Bless you.
Thank you. Felt that one coming. So NASA is saying that the surface of the moon has a very strange texture to it, almost like a talc powder type texture.
Like that fucking.
It's like
was it moon
dust.
sand?
Yeah, no,
the kids' toy?
but it's like dust, almost. So it can be compacted
like
pretty easily. Yes, yeah, like flour.
Okay.
But if you think about what they're saying about this footprint, it's got to be fake because there has to be moisture. That's not true either on the conspiracy theory side of it, because think about when you're walking to the beach.
Yeah.
All the fucking hot-ass dry sand you're walking on first, you don't leave perfect footprints in that. It winds up being just a mount, like your foot goes into a hole. As soon as your foot comes out, like all the sand crumbles back in. So moisture, I don't think, has anything to do with it.
Yeah, but that sand all the way back there is dry.
Right.
Where when you get closer to the shoreline and it's wet, you can see like every freaking
it's not
like curve in the bottom of your foot.
Right, but that alludes to what I'm saying is the texture of it is what would matter. Because you could have dry talc powder or flour and step in that, and that would keep the imprint of whatever you're pushing into it.
Yeah.
So
I don't think that has anything to do with you're saying it doesn't have anything to do with the moisture. That has to do with just the texture.
The texture, I think.
To start with.
I don't think it has anything to do with the moisture.
Well, yeah, and I think if you're on like a beach that has like a finer sand,
it might
make a difference too.
But if you're at Dirty Jersey, love you, Jersey, but if you're at Dirty Jersey,
just me, or has the water in the ocean been like cold as shit the past couple of years? I feel like as a kid it was always warm and
I think as a kid you just didn't give a fuck.
I gave a fuck. I promise you, I've never liked being cold.
Oh, I know. As you're here with my down blanket and a heater blasting on you still, even though the heat is up to 70 degrees in here.
Feel like,
it's on.
Yeah, but it's not. Like, what's coming out of it is really not hot.
Oh, probably because the temperature... You can turn the temperature up on it now. If it doesn't smell like it's burning, it's not really on. That one's got so much wood powder in it from working in the garage.
If, like, when I get in the shower, if I don't come out bright red and itchy, it's not effective.
No.
Dude, I'm telling you, when I get out of the shower, I need to have moisturizer immediately on my skin because I can feel how much I've just drained out of it.
Can't do it, man.
I love it.
I like a warm shower, but there's no chance I'm doing that piping hot, boiling shit. Like, you could fucking steep tea in the shower, water that you use.
Oh, I know. It's the best.
It's brutal.
I get out, my stomach's all bright red and shit. Oh, I love it. I will never change.
The next one, which was interesting, I never thought of this one, is the video footage of the lunar module. And again, this is another camera angle thing takes into account, is like there's video of the lunar module taking off of the moon. Like, what the fuck did they do? But it was all remote recording. So we left a camera on the moon, obviously.
All for the sake of the shot.
Yeah. So
never mind what we're doing to the world around us.
Right.
Cool.
But the video footage of the lunar module blasting off from the moon, there's no flame from the exhaust of the launching system. So
okay.
The theory is that it's being pulled up by
like a fucking
on a movie set or something like that.
Cool.
But NASA said that the Saturn V rocket, which is what we're all familiar with on the launch pad, and it burns liquid oxygen and kerosene on blast off, which has a huge fiery plume of smoke that can be seen for like miles and miles and miles. And that's what we're all familiar with from seeing launches of
the
things.
launches from Earth.
From Earth.
Yeah.
The lunar lander, though, because gravity's so different up there, it runs on nitrogen tetroxide and Aerosine 50, which has transparent exhaust gases. So
okay.
I've heard Aerosine 50, and I probably should have looked this up, but I've heard it compared to almost like an aerosol can. Like what you're seeing come out of that is essentially nothing. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what this is. And that's kind of all the force they need up there. And you can see that in videos, too, of like when they're rotating the space station. Like you kind of just hear that psst, and you can see like a spray.
Like a butane,
and it's kind of
without the flame.
Right.
Okay.
So that's how they explain this. And that's much more sciencey than I would know anything about. I mean, that goes beyond a conspiracy theory, I think.
Yeah.
Because I think you can't argue with that because it's the fuel they're burning. That's
right.
not...
It's not a common knowledge thing that you'd really be able to dispute. I think it just kind of... that one, you either accept at face value or you don't. I mean, I don't
anybody
think
that's going to argue that
argue.
one, you better be a scientist.
Yeah.
Don't tell me you just fucking Googled that and like, oh, well, it doesn't fucking burn clear. It's you should be able to see it under... No, I don't know. Unless you're fucking doing these experiments, I don't want to hear about it. Because
agreed.
That's...
Motion seconded.
Yeah.
Yo, this drink is good.
I don't know if I'm going to have enough left for our toast. All right.
Is there any left in the thing, in the shaker?
Yes. There's actually a decent bit left in there.
Okay.
Fucking things up over here.
You actually used the one that the lid works too.
I did. I threw the other one away.
That's 2 episodes in a row.
I threw the other one away.
Wow,
I think I want to get a mixture
You've only had
that
it for like 6
screws on.
months.
That the lid screws on. That way it doesn't get jammed on there.
Yeah. And then if it won't get like bent and get all fucking weird. Okay.
Get bent. Is that a thing people say still?
No.
No.
Definitely not. You're such a dad. You're so old.
Get turned. That was something too, right?
I've never said that.
Turn up.
No. Turn down for what?
Oh. I'm just breaking stuff. Sorry. Hold on. There we go.
Up.
All right. We're good. The last thing that many of these mooners, can I call them mooners? I don't know.
Lunatics.
The lunatics. The lunars. They say
Looney Tunes?
the Looney Tunes. There you go. No, we might get hit with like a fucking trademark on that. Trademark, copyright, whatever.
I feel like we've said a lot of things that would get us in a lot more
fuck all y'all bitches
than fucking Looney Tunes.
Turn down. Yeah. All right. Radiation is a big concern of these people who think that it was a hoax.
Okay.
So the Earth's magnetic field collects radiation from the sun. And there's these belts around the Earth, apparently, called the Van Allen belts, which is just a belt of radiation around the Earth.
Yeah.
So the argument is that the astronauts would have died of radiation exposure before making it out of the Van Allen belts. But NASA responded saying that the radiation is only dangerous if there was exposure for many days. And the astronauts go through the belts in a matter of a few hours. And they say that they receive radiation close to that of like an X-ray. So almost nothing.
Okay.
So I don't know. That's a little weird to me because like we get radiation from the sun.
Right.
And like I feel like even if there's not a belt of radiation, like we're getting protection from our atmosphere, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like even
well, you wouldn't once you exit the atmosphere, though.
I know, that's what I'm saying. So it shouldn't. The belts might be a higher concentration.
Yeah.
But like the astronauts up in like the space station, wouldn't they be getting hit with higher doses of radiation because they're outside of our atmosphere? Like, wouldn't they be exposed to it more?
I think if they weren't in like spacesuits getting pumped with like filtered.
But they're not. In the space station, they don't wear spacesuits. They float around like me and you.
Yeah, I just floated around this morning.
Yeah.
No, like, I mean, in the rocket itself, like, there's filtered air. They're not just fucking breathing in the exhaust from out in the.
Yeah, but radiation
universe.
isn't through the air, though, is it? Isn't radiation a wave?
Well, yeah, I guess.
You would get, yeah. So, I guess what I'm saying is, unless there's some sort of protection built into the space station, these guys
there might be. I think that's more of what I was thinking.
It's like a
was
Faraday
that there's some
cage
sort of
kind of thing.
Like, I don't know what that is. No. I don't know what that means.
It's a metal cage that can stop against electromagnetic pulses, EMPs.
Okay. I mean, is that like the thing that they put on you, like when you get when you get your teeth X-rayed?
No, that's just a lead.
Is it lead? Okay.
Yeah, that's just.
But I mean, like, I wonder if there's something built into the space shuttle or whatever. Or
maybe they need to take some sort of pill. I know because like if you're live near
they
like
do
the
have to take some sort of mineral supplements and stuff. Yeah.
Out in Lidditz, you have to take. Well, you can take some sort of pill.
Yeah.
To fight against it, I guess.
Yeah, I wonder. Maybe
the astronauts are sprouting fucking third arms up there. I don't know.
Maybe there's no aliens. Maybe it's all astronauts.
Maybe
they're the aliens.
Maybe. Oh, well, we'll get into that a little bit too.
We might have our own conspiracy to talk about. Oh
shit! So that's what I got on the moon landing. Okay. What's your thought on the moon landing? You think it was real or fake?
No, I don't think it's real.
Really?
I don't.
Okay.
I think I don't think that we went exactly when we said we did.
Okay.
I think we've been since, probably a little more quietly, but I think I firmly believe that the U.S. was not okay with taking a backseat to Russia.
Yeah.
And was in absolutely no position to make it there in the time frame that they would have needed to save some face. And I think that they doctored it because technology is not or was not what it is now, and they could get away with it to a certain extent. Where if that were to air now, people would fucking know immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't think it's real. Do you?
So I don't know. I struggle with this because I find it very difficult, if it was real, to believe that they just would have said, all right, we went to the moon, we're done.
That's the other thing that I think is
billions and
billions
of dollars to get there, just to send 9 missions, I think.
I don't remember.
Is what it was, 6 missions, something like that, to get there, and then they're done.
Right.
Like
what's the purpose? Just for bragging rights? Like, what do we do?
Makes sense. Like, what would make more sense to me is if they got there and they're like, okay, sweet, we know we can get there. This is what we need to do. Now we're gonna send equipment up there so we can build some sort of refueling station there, so that we can send our next rocket there to refuel so it can launch to Mars. Like,
right.
Why
did we stop there?
Yeah.
And that's the other thing that confuses me too. Like, if you want to leave shit there, okay, fine. Like, if you have every intention of going back and like, oh, we're going to come back and this way we have this camera so that when we land, right, we can get the incoming footage. Fine, whatever. But like, nothing has come of it since then.
Yeah.
Why, like, that makes no sense to me.
Something happened, I think. I do think we've been there, like you said. I don't know if it was on the same timeline. I do know, like, there's interviews of Buzz Aldrin where, like, many astronauts, like, will tell you, yes, there's UFOs. Like, there's shit going on in space. I don't know. it's weird. I don't.
What?
The moon thing. I just certain.
So
the
wait,
details,
what are you saying about Buzz Aldrin?
That he's one of the ones that will say like there's. I'll link a couple of his interviews, but he is a believer in extraterrestrial. I don't think he was previously.
What do you mean?
There was
prior to his
prior to him
going to the moon.
Yeah, and
Okay.
there was
Did he pass away? I think he.
I don't think so.
No. I thought he died.
There's and I think we actually talked about it at some point in one of the episodes, but there was a couple minutes of interference, something like that.
Yeah.
And when they came back on, or they switched, no, that's what it was, I think. During the live feed, the astronauts switched over to a private channel to talk to NASA. And were saying something like, yeah, they're here, basically alluding to there's some other life somewhere up there.
That wouldn't surprise me one bit.
Right. So...
Look, I've said it before and I'll say it again. If we are the most intelligent and only beings out there, we are all fucked. We are all so fucking screwed, it's not even funny. There has got to be. And I don't know if we'll get to see it in our lifetime. There has got to be something else out there.
Yeah, I hope
there
so.
has. I fucking hope.
I hope so.
For the future of everything. That we are not.
Yeah.
We are not the only thing. We can't be.
Me too.
Truthfully, I believe that we that the Earth is like a petri dish for some other beings, and
so we'll touch on that.
They're watching let's see what these idiots do with COVID.
Yeah.
Let's sprinkle in some of this and see how they handle it. Like I truly think that we're all in somebody else's fucking test tube.
Yeah. So that's it for the moon landing hoax. So we basically went through that because we wanted to talk about this, and this is the hollow moon theory.
Yep.
So the theory suggests, as it says in the title, that the moon is hollow, and there is like scientific backing to it. There's a lot of interesting data behind this one. So the theory originated in 1901 in a science fiction book by H.G. Wells called The First Men on the Moon. Very original name for a book. Wells borrowed ideas from the centuries-old theories about hollow Earth.
Yeah.
Now, hollow moon theorists claim proof of a hollow moon by what I'm going to go through here. And there's a couple things. The first one is the density of the moon.
Right.
So scientists try to explain that the moon may have been formed from a chunk of Earth's crust, which is less dense than the Earth's core.
Okay.
So
I don't hate that.
Right. So what basically the theorists are saying is that comparatively, given the different sizes of the moon and the Earth, the moon is much less dense in proportion than the Earth is.
So saying if the Earth and the moon were the same size,
they should be very similar.
Yeah.
And they're not. The moon is much less dense.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Right,
So
yes.
if they were the same size, it would still be the same difference in their densities.
Exactly.
Okay. I mean, I guess if the theory that the moon was a chunk of the Earth's crust that broke off, that would explain the difference in the texture too, with like the footprint that you mentioned from the like the previous round.
Right.
That might explain a bit of why the texture of it is that flower texture, and why it would be like the imprint would be so perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a decent tie-in.
Yeah. So the theory of what you're mentioning here, that the Earth was, or the moon was made of a part of the Earth's crust, is that the moon was created by a huge impact that the Earth experienced at some point in its history, which broke off a large part of the Earth's crust. The problem,
when the dinosaurs died.
But the problem with that theory is how specific things would have had to be. The object that would have hit the Earth would have to be big enough to break that huge chunk off, but small enough to not destroy the Earth, for one. Two, not knock the Earth out of its orbit. It's just kind of a...
Delicate.
Yes, very delicate. The angle that it would have to hit at would be perfect.
I mean, if you're really thinking about like how the whole Earth was created in the first place, I mean, it would have had to have been a very delicate balance and a very delicate situation.
Yeah.
But I think the moon is probably not a piece of the Earth's crust.
Yeah. It is a pretty accepted thing, actually. It's one of the...
But like you said, I think too much would have had to have gone perfectly
right
for that to be successful.
Yeah. So there were seismic experiments that took place during Apollo 13, 14, 15, and 16 missions, and that pointed to the moon being only about 60% as dense as the Earth, which was actually more than I thought it would be.
I thought you were going to say lower, too.
Yeah.
I was going to say more like 35, 40.
Yeah. So in looking this up, I learned there was an Apollo 17 mission that I didn't really even know was a thing. And there were... I don't know if the whole mission was classified or just parts of the mission were classified, but there was part of this mission called Chapel Bell, and it was a completely separate...
like that sounds familiar.
It was a completely separate experiment, and the only reason for... the only reason for a classified mission is if the results of the previous tests show that the scientists showed the scientists that the moon was completely different than what they thought it was going to be. There would be no reason for some sort of high-class mission, or unless they found something else up there. But...
Which is possible.
Right. So Chapel Bell...
Just ask Buzz Aldrin.
Yeah. Chapel Bell gets into the acoustics of the moon, and that is the next thing that these hollow moon theorists go into, is the acoustics of the moon are very strange.
The fact that we were going to call it Chapel Bell and not like fucking Quasimodo or something, that's disappointing to me. It's a big missed opportunity.
So the acoustics on the Apollo missions between 69 and 77, seismometers were installed on the moon to record moonquakes. So the moon experiences earthquakes as well. But again,
it's not
they're
an
called
earthquake.
moonquakes.
It's not the Earth.
Right. They could just call all of them quakes, but...
God forbid.
Yeah. So in 1970, Popular Science published an article that brought attention to the fact that the readings on the seismometers were described as, quote, ringing like a bell. And this was in the NASA's descriptions during some of the quakes. On November 20th, 1969, Apollo 12, then this is where I was saying that how we know that we left some stuff there and why we did.
So
this is one of the reasons we left something there.
4 months after the first.
Yeah.
You said July. You said November 69?
November 2069, yes.
Yeah, so that would have been 4 months after the first moon landing.
Yes.
With Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin.
So, November 20th, 1969, Apollo 12 purposefully crashed its ascent stage of the lunar module into the moon's surface to study how the moon reacted on the seismometers.
Okay.
So NASA...
So this was to, like, try to replicate a moonquake?
No, just so they could study that they knew the mass and the size and the impact that they were going to put onto the moon.
So they were able to really test what an impact would look like because they were able to factor in all those things.
And they'd be able to tell what the makeup of the moon is then. How dense it... Or not dense, but what... if it's
density,
rock, if it's water, if it's whatever. Yeah. So they purposely crashed this into the moon. NASA reported again that the moon rang like a bell for almost an hour. And that led many to theorize that the moon was hollow just like a bell. So earthquakes on Earth can last seconds to minutes. And this one was over an hour. It rang. Very strange.
I mean, you're also factoring in the difference in size too. So you're making an impact, and then
Right, but that ringing is unreal. Like that the
that's
length
odd,
of time
yeah.
is strange. Because if I feel like no matter what size impact it is, it would stop ringing sooner than that. The ringing
I would
has
think
to do
so,
with
yeah.
So
I mean, even if you had like a giant fucking gong and you hit it like super hard, it would not ring for an hour.
Right.
Do you think that that has anything to do with, like you said, there not being any wind resistance to like slow down some of, or like to buffer that?
I don't think that
at
has
all?
any wind resistance issue. I think that has to do with the actual makeup of what the moon is, because
Right, but I mean, like, if so, there's impact, and obviously, in order to make that sound, it would have to shake at least a little bit, and you would have to get that vibration back and forth, right?
Oh, I see
to
what
make
you're
the
saying,
sound.
on the actual
If there
surface
was
of it.
something on the
Maybe.
surface of the moon to buffer that or to cushion that, whether it was wind drag or whatever, like, do you think that that would make a difference? I'm not saying that it would or wouldn't. I'm just trying to factor in all possibilities.
I don't know. Maybe. I mean,
'Cause like you said
I
with
feel like
the-
not much of a difference, because the majority of the vibration is going to be, and the ringing, I guess, is going to be internal. I mean,
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, but
I'm thinking, like, in terms of what you said about the flag, how it was, like, still moving for a bit because of them pushing it down and not having the wind resistance to, like, slow it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, like, the vibrations would last longer
Yeah.
because of the
Maybe.
lack
I
of
don't know.
drag. I don't know.
I do not.
Playing devil's advocate.
Yeah.
You know me.
Yeah. But this did give rise to the second theory, which is the Vasin-Sherbakov theory, also known as the spaceship moon theory. So in 1970, Michael Vasin and Alexander Sherbakov of the Soviet Academy of Sciences hypothesized that the moon is a spaceship that was created by an unknown beings. They published an article in Sputnik, which is the Soviet equivalent of Reader's Digest, and their theory relied heavily on the study of the impact craters on the moon.
Okay.
So they found that small meteors struck the moon and made cup-like depressions in the moon's surface.
Okay.
Not very deep, but made cup-like,
little...
that you could go down to the point of that cup and find what made the impact. Mm-hmm. Large meteors...
Almost like a drop of water
Yes.
in a puddle,
Right.
and then but that would obviously move.
Right. Large meteors drilled through the outer layer of the moon and left a large flat depression at the bottom of the crater. So, and that you can see that in many of the craters on the moon. If you look at the pictures, I can put up a picture now. It's like a flat expanse with the outer walls of the crater coming out. And
it's kind of domed at the edges.
Right.
Yeah.
And their theory on that is that these large meteors break through this dusty outer layer of the crust of the moon and hit an armored hull. So something...
Oh, so that would be why it would flatten out.
Why it would flatten out. Like there's nothing past that except for the spaceship.
Gotcha.
Or what? So what they're saying is that...
So what's the thought behind there being a spaceship? Like why would that...
So
what would be the purpose of there being a spaceship?
The purpose of that...
Satelliting the moon. Satelliting the Earth, I mean.
Well, before I get to that, because I have one thing right before that.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're fine. In the 1960s, obviously kind of when all of this was starting, the Soviet Union promoted the ancient astronaut concept. I don't know if you're familiar with that. Mm-mm. But that is ancient astronauts are said to have been intellectual extraterrestrial beings that have visited humanity all the way back to prehistoric times. And you can see them in like hieroglyphs and stuff like that.
Okay.
And I can put up some pictures of the hieroglyphs there as well, because it's pretty cool, some of the pictures.
Yeah,
like they look like people with a clear head, but a dome around the head, and then kind of like radiating symbols coming from that, like an
a
astronaut
halo looking?
No, but like an astronaut's shield over their head. Like
right. No, but I mean, it would be like the old
like Buzz Lightyear. They look like Buzz Lightyear, like a body with a clear glass half dome over their head.
Interesting.
Very strange. So the reason that this thought on a spaceship moon, or why there would be aliens there, and you alluded to earlier, it's called directed panspermia. And that is...
I hate whoever developed that name.
It's the theory that life on Earth may have been deliberately seeded by other extraterrestrial civilizations.
Absolutely.
So that is what the thought is that there's some sort of alien beings inside of the moon who are basically scientists studying us, monitoring what's going on Earth.
So do we think that there are these beings living inside the moon, or that it's just like a satellite hub that they have made with like a fucking some sort of imagery or imaging system that sends information back to their home planet?
So I mean, I would think it's probably both. I don't know. I didn't look into that, but I would think, in my opinion, I would think it's probably both, but I would think that they're using that as some, if it is what it is, they're using it as some sort of stopping station. I mean, we have a lot of apparent UFO activity.
Yeah.
And from space as well. Astronauts say that they've seen them. I mean, there's declassified video now of Navy saying they see them in the ocean all the time.
Yeah.
And they can never catch up to them. So there's a ton of activity, but like we don't really know where they come from. So I mean, my assumption would be is if the moon is some sort of spaceship, then that's their docking station.
That would make sense.
That's their refueling station.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something inside of there that they can, I don't know, teleport back to their planet. I don't know.
So that would also explain why, if we truly have been to the moon and we left a bunch of shit, that the idea, like you said, of using that as a hub or like a refueling station, they're like, fucking seats taken.
Yep.
It also calls into question the dark side of the moon.
Yes.
Would that be a deliberate creation or setup in terms of the creators out there that would use that as their on and off?
I would think so.
I would think that would be their entrance and exit to kind of get in and out a little more.
That would be my thought. Maybe that's where their base is.
That's what I'm thinking, is what if they're stationed, or like what if they're, I don't know. The only thing I can think of is like, if you think of it in terms of like a house, right? Like once they're in the house, you can't really see them. They're kind of behind the scenes. But like, what if the dark side of the moon is their driveway and garage?
Yep.
And they use that to park.
Yep.
Come into whatever.
Yep.
Do what they need to do, and then boogie out of there, and we catch glimpses here and there.
Yeah. I'm with you. And
I think we might be onto something here. I never thought about that before.
Yeah. So what Britt's talking about, and if you don't know this or you had never heard of it before, it's they call it the dark side of the moon. It's the far side of the moon, really, is what it is.
So the way that it works is that the moon's axis rotation and its orbit are in opposite directions.
The moon's tidally locked to the Earth. So its orbit and rotation match that of the Earth, so that we always see the same side of it.
Right.
Right.
Well, partly because it's rotating. You know, like if it's I don't remember which is clockwise and which one's counterclockwise,
right.
But if it rotates, a quarter turn
right.
clockwise, it's also going around the Earth counterclockwise.
The exact same.
At the exact same rate.
Right.
Which again seems like a little bit too coincidental.
Yes. So that's
like
one of the things that is
perfect.
very strange about the moon.
I always thought that was weird. I remember learning about that in first or second grade and being like, But how do we know that it's a real thing if we've never seen the other side of it? Like, how is it that, all the different parts of Earth see the sun and see the moon and see whatever, but, like, we never see the other side of that?
All the different parts of the moon see the sun as well.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Earth,
we don't see it.
Why is it that we don't see?
Yes. So
and why is that so special about the dark side of the moon? Like, we don't talk about the other planets in that same respect.
Apparently,
I mean, I guess we don't see them.
Saturn or Jupiter does have a moon that does the same thing.
Probably Jupiter, because there's like 27 moons or something.
It does have a moon that does the same thing. But in 2019, I think it was, and I didn't do a ton of research on this because it got so in depth, and there was a lot of craziness involved in it. But China had a rover on the moon, on the dark side of the moon, or some flyover or something like that of the dark side of the moon, and took photographs and were trying to map the far side of the moon. They successfully mapped it, but it said that they found glass orbs, like glass globes on the other side of the moon.
Weird.
Very strange. But
That's
the
odd.
reason that I didn't do too much research into it yet, because it's going to take a deep dive to sort through all of it. They also said that they found some sort of cube shape there that was apparently, after further research, found to just be a rock. And, like, there was a bunch of things. Like, they went there.
That it would be cube shaped, though.
Right, but they went there looking for something, and everything they saw was what they were looking for, kind of situation. Like, they went there looking for alien life,
like proof
evidence,
of alien life. Mm-hmm.
And everything they saw had something in it that was.
Yeah, I mean, if you,
because they're looking for it.
Right, exactly. Like if it's like
So
like the
take
idea of like if you're looking for a fight, you're gonna find one.
Right.
Well, yeah, you can pick anything out of anything and make it fit your narrative.
Right.
It's the same reason that people believe in like horoscopes and fucking psychics and stuff. Like, oh, they come up with something that's just enough of a bit of information to make you grasp onto it, and then you're constantly looking for that thing to come true.
Yeah. So it's going to take a lot to go through that. Maybe we'll do another moon episode or a follow-up to this episode or something. And there's a lot to that one because of how much was mixed in with it, because of all the hype of what they found or supposedly found.
Okay.
But
how long ago was that?
I think it was 2019.
19? Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, some strange things about the moon. You mentioned one. We only ever see one side of the moon because the moon's tidally locked, blah, blah, blah. The moon apparently had a ton of past volcanic activity, and that's a lot of what we see, and the dark ash color of many of the spots on the moon is called Maria, which is like the material left behind by these volcanic eruptions.
Okay.
Very
it's
strange.
Like an ash?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I guess if it's ash, I guess that kind of helps me understand a little bit the footprint then.
I was going to say that would feed into the texture because I would feel like ash is more of that.
But I had no idea. Like, it's just
grit.
very strange to think if the moon had volcanic activity, it has some sort of warm core to it. So why couldn't we find a way to inhabit that? Because I don't know.
Right.
I feel like that just leads to a ton of questions.
Right, and my whole
if there was
thought about
volcanic activity, why would all of the water be frozen on the moon?
So that's what I was going to ask. I thought that it was like frozen.
Yeah.
So I was going to say my whole
it brought up
understanding
many
of the
more
Earth
questions than
or of the world and the universe is that pretty much anything past Earth, including the moon, is too cold to inhabit.
Right.
Because of its distance from the sun.
Right.
Mercury is obviously way too fucking hot. Mm-hmm. And Venus, I think, too, is too hot.
Yeah.
But Venus was the closest to Earth as far as atmosphere goes, and that would be the most likely to sustain human life.
Yeah. I don't know. The whole concept of that is it brought up many more questions than answers. Mm-hmm. Because I don't know. I feel like
if
volcanic activity.
right, that would indicate that there's some fire.
Right. Like, was the moon a fucking star in some other solar system and found its way to Earth and got locked into the orbit?
I guess. And then...
but that's not how stars die, though, right? They turn into black holes eventually, right?
That's my understanding. Yeah, that's what they want us to think.
Yeah.
But I think it's definitely weird, and I would wonder if, what if the friggin' moon was like the comet that hit Earth and killed all the dinosaurs, and then like fucking bounced back out. And then was like, ah, shit, now I'm too cold.
Yeah.
And, like, developed this crusty cold layer on top.
Crusty old bitch.
Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
Ashy
Very
elbows
strange.
and shit.
Yeah, right? Strange.
Speaking of which, I forgot to put lotion on after my shower. My elbows feel like they're catching my shirt a little.
Gross.
They're just dry.
The
time of year.
The other thing that I find strange about the moon is... It's the size of the moon and its distance between the Earth and the sun is perfect, so it aligns to give us eclipses. It would have to be in the perfect location for that to happen.
Right, because any bigger, any smaller, and any further or closer would not line up perfectly.
Right. So that's strange to me, too.
That is weird. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
I just have kind of always been like, oh yeah, an eclipse.
There's
like I never
moon.
really thought about...
It's a full moon out today.
So straight up the other day when it was foggy as fuck, I legitimately did not know if I was looking at a full moon or the sun behind the clouds. I was like... And they looked... Whichever one it was looked identical to the other. And that was the first time that I really thought about how much they are similar in size.
Yeah.
To our eye, I should say.
Eye, because
they're not actually.
But it's crazy to think that. I mean...
And like, how it... even thinking of it in terms of like... So the closest other planet to us is Venus, I believe.
Sure. No. Can't be, right?
Why can't it be?
Why would...
The closest one in the solar system... Which one are we closest location to? It's either Venus or Mars, obviously, because that's the order.
Mars.
But
it's got to be Mars because that's our goal to get to, right?
But even so, let's look at Mars. Look at
Mercury is the nearest planet to Earth.
How is that fucking possible? Isn't it Mercury, Venus,
Earth?
Earth?
Wait, sorry, no, not. Hold on.
Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune,
It's
Pluto.
Mercury. Of all the planets in the solar system, Mercury has the smallest orbit.
Well, yeah, because it's closest to the sun.
Venus, Mars, Mercury. Venus comes closer to Earth, than any other planet.
Venus.
Its orbit is closest to ours. Venus, yes.
Okay, so it's Venus.
Yeah.
Okay, so looking at Venus, like if you can see Venus in the night sky to the naked eye, it is minuscule.
Wait, pause. It's not Venus. It is Mercury.
That's not fucking possible.
Yes, it is. So this article here on Popular Mechanics says...
you learned it in a fucking second grade.
No, we learned the position of the planets.
Right.
But we didn't learn how far we are from them.
If you're first in line and I'm second in line, you are the person I'm closest to.
No, I know that, but that doesn't mean you have something on either side of you.
Yeah.
Okay, so that two of them, you're deciding between the two of you which is closer.
Yes,
right?
And we are not immediately next to Mercury, so I stand by what I said.
This apparently says...
It's Mercury, Venus, Earth. Venus is between Earth and Mercury.
Scientists behind the crunch the numbers. Mercury is the closest planet not only to Earth, but to every other planet in the solar system as well. Developed a simulation of our solar system. It has to have something to do with the orbit. Maybe the size of the shape of the orbit, maybe. Every planet spends about half its time on the opposite side of the sun. In the Earth's case, while Venus does not get very close to Earth, it also spends plenty of time very, very far away. This is very different to calculate, blah, blah, blah. So, okay, so that makes sense.
They're talking about
what planet we actually get closest to.
Which one we spend the most time closest to. Which one, if we were all perfectly fucking lined up from Mercury to Pluto, if we were in a straight fucking line, which one is closest to us? You know what? It doesn't fucking matter, because I don't care. When you look up in the sky, and sometimes we see planets, right?
Yes.
It doesn't matter if it's fucking Venus or Pluto or Jupiter. They all roughly look about the same size to us.
Yeah.
Even though Jupiter is enormous and it's further away, the moon is fucking tiny and closer. The sun is humongous and farther than those other planets. Like, it's baffling to me how different all of the planets look to the naked eye to us compared to the moon and the sun, and how similar those two are despite the gigantic fucking difference in their sizes. That throws me off.
I'm with you. I guess that has something to do with the brightness of the planets too. Like, even if the size is different, it has something to do with the brightness.
I mean, I guess to an extent, but I don't...
The reflectiveness, I should say.
I don't feel like
planets
that's
aren't bright.
the big part of it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because even if it's not very reflective, you can still see... Like, when you can see it, it still is a speck. Like, I can't tell if it's a star or a planet sometimes.
Yeah.
But, like, I can tell if it's a star or the moon.
But is that also distance-wise, though, compared to size? Like, Jupiter might look the same size.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like,
Jupiter might look the same size as Mars.
Mercury and Venus are both closer to us than the sun.
Yeah.
But still look that fucking tiny.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
And, you know, the moon is obviously closer to us, but a lot smaller. It still looks the same size as the sun.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Planets are weird, man. I think they're all fake.
Space is weird.
They're all fucking fake. The whole thing's fake. They're, what's Pumbaa say they are? Fireflies up in there? Up in the sky? Pumbaa or Timon says that?
I don't remember.
I forget. But, yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts on the moon? What are your thoughts on all the...
I've been giving my thoughts for an hour and 20 minutes.
What's your official thought on the spaceship or not? Yes or no?
Is the moon a spaceship?
Yes.
Absolutely.
It's a spaceship. Do you think that's why we haven't been back? Do you think they know it, and that's why we haven't been back?
Yes, I do. I think it was like the... like, come in, don't fucking touch anything, take your pictures, and get out of here.
Yeah.
I believe that it was like, fuck, they figured it out. We didn't expect them to, and now we're fucked. Go, beat it.
Yeah, I could see that.
It feels like the Hunger Games. It all kind of feels like when the game makers realize that that they figured it out.
Yeah.
And they're like, ah, shit. That's what I imagine.
It's only a matter of time before Elon gets up there and starts spouting his mouth out of what's actually fucking going on.
That motherfucker does not stop talking.
He's going to say, as soon as he sees something out there, he's going to say. He's not going to give a fuck. He's going to say.
No, he doesn't care.
Yeah. Because he's been saying it for years. And it's going to be...
He can't wait to rub it in everybody's faces. He's going to come back with a shitty
I told all you fucking idiots.
Yep.
He'll be fucking launching his Tesla rocket. Just fucking push a button and launch his Tesla up into space.
Naming all his kids weird shit.
Yeah. 3CPO and C3PO. Yeah,
yes.
that's C3.
Anyway. Named his kids like fucking letters that don't exist. There's like a 12 in there or something.
Yeah. I don't know.
This weird as hell.
So the whole space thing gives rise to an extraterrestrial thing gives rise to a ton of theories. We will have an episode on ancient astronauts, which I mentioned in this episode, and that's gonna be a really cool one because that's one that is very interesting, kind of ties in religious beliefs because it disputes religious beliefs and evolution and all that. It's basically that we were
Jesus
made,
was an alien.
we were petri dishes and made, and it's neat. But yeah. So we'll talk about.
So you
that
also
in the
alluded
future.
to another future episode. You talked about Hollow Moon and how that kind of ties to Hollow Earth.
Yes.
So
That'll
I
be
know that we want to
up.
do a Hollow Earth.
We were thinking about doing it on Earth Day. Was that the deal with that one?
I don't know. I kind of want to do Flat Earth on Earth Day. So maybe we'll do Hollow Earth a little bit sooner since we just did Hollow Moon. Maybe lead into Hollow Earth and then save Flat Earth.
Hollow Moon.
For
Good
Earth Day.
song by.
That's not. Is that the name of the song?
Yeah, it's called
Did we
Hollow
go with
Moon. Yeah, who is it?
AWOL Nation.
AWOL Nation. Yes, good song.
Is that is the name of the song?
I think it's called Hollow Moon (parentheses Bad Wolf). I think
it's a good jam.
It is a good one.
I've had it in my head ever since we started talking about this. It's a good one. Well, a good drink, a good episode.
Yes.
Good song.
Good song.
We'll include a link to the song too in case you want to check it out.
It's a good one.
It's a good one.
Yeah. But as always, if you guys have any thoughts on future episodes, let us know.
Any requests?
Shoot us a text, email, call, whatever. Phone numbers 267-450-9448. Again, you can text, you can call, whatever's easiest for you. Check us out on Instagram,
all
Facebook.
The things. Check the link tree.
Yeah, link tree it up.
Yep.
And again, if you love the podcast, like, subscribe, share, and write into us, and we'll send you a coaster.
Yeah.
As a thank you for being a listener. So we appreciate all of you. Mm-hmm. Appreciate you sticking through the, I don't know how many, it was like 920 something minutes of podcast we recorded last year.
Is that what it was?
Something like that.
Holy shit. It's a good time.
Yeah. So thank you guys for all of that. Thanks for being here. I don't know. I mean, what's this toast to? I mean, is this... What's the next one going to be? You called out the last episode.
What, the next episode?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, you guys will find out.
You'll find out when we do.
Yeah, you'll know when we know.
All right.
But Sapphire Moon. To the Hollow Moon. And to the Toast to the Atypical.
Yep.
Cheers.
To finally a good fucking drink.